welcome back to my little film and TV channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. We're going over to Sky today. Yeah, we're going over some original Sky stuff. I'm going to look at something called the Midwich Cuckoos. Yes, we're going to look at that today. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, keep spreading the word. I try and inform and entertain on these TV dramas, movies, information vlogs, lots of different things. So it's great to have your support. Great to have you on board. And fancy shirt on today. I'm still a bit chilly. It's the heat wave, or so-called heat wave, as I'm recording this, only lasted a couple of days. And yeah, it's a bit dull and miserable today. Should probably rain later on. Right, we'll have a look at the Midwich Cuckoos. Please give us your thumbs up, guys. Give us your likes. Much appreciated. We've got 7 episodes, an unusual figure. 7, yeah, it's usually 6 or 8 or 4. It's don't usually get odd numbers, but we did with this. And we get 6 by about 45 minutes. And I think the last one's a bit longer. I think the last episode's just over an hour. And this has been showing on Sky Max, a science fiction horror drama. I mean, people of an age like me would have seen variations of this over the years. It's on demand in full. Now you can watch the full series on demand as well. And it's created by David Farr, based on the book, of course, of the same name by John Wyndham from 1957. It definitely does have that feel to it, this. Internet Movie Database doing okay. Joe Public 6.5 out of 10. That's just based on 1,358 reviews. That's as at the 19th of June 2022 when I'm recording this. And of that 1,358, I've ignored the 10 out of 10s and the 1 out of 10s, and you get 831 people scored it between 6 and 9, so that's very good. And just 194 people scored it between 2 and 5. So 81%, that's my little stat that I add on, 81% positivity, which is good. So you got people like Keeley Hawes stars in this as Dr. Susanna Zellaby, Max Beasley as DCI Paul Haynes, Aisling Loftus as Zoe Moran, a lot of familiar faces to UK drama and TV watchers. Quelly Roach as Sam Clyde, Synovi Carlson as Cassie Stone, Samuel West as Bernard Westcott, Lara Rossi as Jodie Blake, Indica Watson as Evie Stone, Hannah Toynton as Rachel Saunders, and Alex Brock as John Lancaster, and lots of little stars, lots of young stars as well. And this is doing an okay job. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a lot of child actors, but the ones in this do okay. Some of them do look scary, which is what they're supposed to do. They frighten me to death, some of them. And what's it about? Well, all the titular, that's good, isn't it? Like Frankie Howard. All of the titular towns, childbearing and women inexplicably fall pregnant on the same night. As these women give birth, Midwich begins to realise these children are unlike any other. Yeah, because they're about 6 foot by the time they're 2 years old. Each child resembles their mother, unlike the book, where they all have golden eyes, light blonde hair, and pale silvery skin, as in Village of the Damned. You may have heard of that or watched that. Been a couple of those as well. They have all their mother's DNA, but with alien additions, of course, and some male implying a Y chromosome. The government takes an immediate interest, really, and imposes secrecy, paying the parents for their cooperation. What do the critics think? Well, a bit mixed bag on this. Lucy Mangan of The Guardian, she's a bit misery sometimes, Lucy, gave the first episode just 2 out of 5, which you can't. I don't think you can score early episodes. I think you've got to give them at least 2 or 3 episodes, these sort of things. She felt it didn't make the most of his adaptational changes and topicality with its emphasis on the perspective of female characters. Nick Hilton of The Independent, I don't think he was impressed either. He just gave it 2 out of 5 stars, deeming it humorless, well, who said it had to be funny, and criticising the production. Okay, but I think there's a means to an end with that. Mark Commode on Commode and Mayo's Take praised the series' tone. He said use of horror and performances, saying it was a successful update of the novel. Carol Midgley of The Times also gave it 4 stars, praising the atmospheric direction and fast script. And what about Bernard? What about me? Talking about me. I mean, this there's no doubt. I think this actually improves as it goes along. I think Lucy Mangan there was on about episode 1. But I think what Lucy Mangan has sort of missed on this is it is trying to give you the old vibe of an old science fiction, certainly British science fiction back in the day, and it's sort of trying to give you that. And whether it sort of corresponds with a modern audience, I'm not too sure. okay, the 2020s audience might be struggling with this, but I must admit I enjoyed it because of the absurdity, basically, and the style. It just reminded me so much of this, as I said, the science fiction dramas. I mean, you can go back to Doctor Who, you can go back to Quatermass and all this sort of thing. The science fiction dramas that crop up in the 60s and 70s, certainly in here in the UK. And yeah, because it's based on a late 50s sci-fi novel, I think they've tried to get, the writers tried to get this over. I might be totally wrong, but that's my impression of it. I was a sort of fan of the original Village of the Damned. It's not dated very well, not like a lot of things from the 50s. I think it was 1960 it was released. And the 1995 version, I had my little video shop then, was okay as well, and it does certainly captures the feel of the early one. I've not gone back and rewatched the 1995 one, but as I say, I'm not too sure how people who are not familiar with the original the novel will take this. Some people just think it's a bit daft and absurd and silly, but as I said, I've given it little credence because I know what it's trying to capture. But I think most people think it's a little bit silly. But for me, yeah, a little bit drawn out. It could have easily been a long feature film or 3 or 4 episodes because there is a lot of filler in this. Did it equate to 7 episodes? Probably not. It should have perhaps been a lot less. But it did make me a bit scared. As I said, I was scared to death of the kids in this, which is the whole idea. But as I said, I'm looking back at this from a historic point of view and remembering some of the great things I watched as a kid and a young man, obviously back in the 50s and 60s. So yeah, I'm looking at it from that emphasis. As I said, for a newer audience, I'm not too sure they'll quite get it, but I'm going to give it my watchable score, a little bit less than Internet Movie Database. I'm just going to give it a standard 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy it. As I said, a bit long, a bit too long, but I could see where they were going with it. Second series, probably. Who knows? You can make a second series out of anything these days, can't they? Don't need to. I mean, it didn't get nicely wrapped up in a bow, this series, which was quite good. But it all seemed a bit rushed as well at the end, which is a bit odd for a series that's gone on for 7 episodes. They could have perhaps spread it about just a little bit more and made some of the earlier episodes a bit more interesting. But a small quibble. It's okay for me. It's a 6 out of 10. Let me know what you think, guys, anyway. And obviously let me know if you've read the book or did you enjoy the Village of the Damned films, etc. And how did you think this compared? Do you think that's what they're trying to do? They're trying to catch that feel, that vibe, if you like, from those early ones? I think they were, personally. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, until we meet again, and that's one thing, please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.